What's up, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to show you on how to basically spice up your next gen NASCAR build from Salvino JR models. So we are doing the Toyota Camry, and I got some 3D printed parts here right out in front of you, and this is what this is going to do. It's going to spice up the build just a bit more. Now on these next gen cars you can't really see much of the engine bay, or obviously where the rear end is, the chassis and the axle is, because those are pretty much all covered up. So we're not going to focus on the chassis much. We're going to focus a little bit here on the chassis, but nothing too major. Mainly all these aftermarket parts are visible parts, such as the brakes, wheels, and mostly on the interior. So let's go ahead and get this video and show you what we have off. Alrighty, so first things first we're going to focus on is going to be the new wheels. So these wheels look really good. So you're wondering why would you want to replace these wheels, because the JR model kit wheels are fantastic, and as they are, they look really good. But the difference is the JR model kit tires, or wheels I should say, as you see on the spokes, they're a bit too thick. Now there's a reason why that is, because well, they have to have it be that thick because of for molding issues. You can't have things too thin, always the molds will fail. And we'll compare some differences. As you see here, the 3D printed ones, or the resin ones I should say, are much more accurate, and the spokes are more sharper and more crisp than the kit ones. The kit ones, like I said, are good, but as you see the difference here, the 3D printed ones are much better. And again, they just replace the wheels, and you still are using the rear hub that goes on the back of the tire. Alrighty, next upgrade we're going to talk about is behind the wheels. Is just going to be the brakes. So the brakes, these ones are much more detailed, and of course they do have the separate brake rotors and pads, and the pads are right here. And we'll check these out. So the reason why you want these separate is because these are visible. You can actually see these behind the brakes, and they're like a goldish, not goldish, they're like a greenish, bluish color. So these brakes are again much more accurate. They have the venting vents on the sides, and then you got the spokes and stuff. They look really good, and we're going to compare differences between the kit ones. Again, kit ones are pretty good. They are really decent for what you are getting out of the box, but again, the 3D printed ones are just more accurate and more detailed, and also you are getting your vent holes on the side as well. So with that, it's a big benefit. And also with the 3D printed wheels you get with it, you do get your single lug nut separate as well. So you can paint this in a goldish chrome, basically bronze color or whatever you want to do. So that's that. Okay, so next topic we're going to talk about is basically part of the chassis. There's some parts are here and there on the chassis you do see, and again, 3D printing makes it much more detailed. So first things first is we're going to dive into the springs. So these are the front springs, and as you see on these ones, they look super good. The actual springs are movable, they are separate. As you see, they are movable and stuff. It looks really good. And then again, these are the rear springs as well, so really nicely detailed. They just look more accurate. Back ones you're not going to see as much, but the front ones you do see if you do open your hood. And again, we're going to go ahead and compare differences between the springs than the kit ones. So again, much more accurate on the 3D printed ones. Again, the kit ones are pretty decent, but also on the rear ones you are not getting that little reservoir on top of what the actual cars have. So again, 3D printed ones do take the cake, but these ones look really fantastic, and it just makes it look more better. Next topic is going to be part of the engine. So these next gen cars, you don't see much of the engine. The only thing you do see is going to be the valve covers. That's pretty much the only thing that you see on the engine bay. There's really no point of using the 3D printed engine and putting all the detail in there, because again, you have all those carbon fiber vents and stuff covering the engine, and you can't really see it unless you are doing like a car they're building or whatever. Then you can put in a 3D printed engine, but again, we're not focusing on that. We're just doing a focus, car that is ready for the track. So for the engine wise, we're only going to be adding a 3D printed and new, basically, valve covers. So since this is a Toyota, we're going to be adding the TRD Toyota Camry valve covers. So that's going to look really nice, because these are the only ones that pops out, because the ones from the kit are these ones, and when JR Models initially brought this kit out, they were focusing on the Chevrolet. So this is basically a Chevrolet engine with the Chevrolet valve covers. But again, Ford, there is also Ford valve covers that you can get for the Ford NASCAR models. But again, I am doing the Toyota Camry, so we got the TRD valve covers. So those are just going to replace these things. Then again, we are still using the same engine because there's no point adding detail on the engine because again, you don't really see much of it anyway. Alright, next focus, I want to focus on to the interior. The interior is where you can really see all these next-gen builds and these next-gen cars because the windows are pretty large and you can see quite a bit that's in the interior bay. So, first things first is going to be, the main focus is going to be the dashboard. So we do have a 3D printed dashboard, and these dashboards look really good, and this is more accurate with the gauge cluster and all the, not gauge cluster, but with the instrument panel right there. That's more accurate, and the gauge cluster is up here, and again here is the gauge cluster right here. So again, it looks really good, and we'll do again comparison differences between that one and the kit one. And here is the kit one. Again, the kit one is good. Jim did add these eventually because if you do have the 2022 and the 2023 Camaro, NASCAR, and the Ford, they do not have a dashboard, so you're going to have to add a dashboard if you want to. But if you get the 2024 NASCAR and newer, they all have the dashboard. So, but looks really good. And again, the kit one is good as well, but this 3D printed one is a bit more detailed and a bit more accurate to the real one. And also, this is the gauge cluster panel that comes with the kit one. Again, that is pretty accurate as well, but most of them do run this skinny and basically fatter one as well. And with the dashboard, you are getting the benefit of the gauge cluster, and you are getting all of these little switches and knobs for the you know, switch panel, you want to call it. So looks really good and fantastic detail. Alright, next focus is going to be on the seat. Now, you can buy an all brand new seat for this kit if you want to, and there's multiple versions of the seats that you can get, but the one I have here is basically an add-on addition to the seat that comes in the kit already. Meaning by that is the kit one is pretty good, but again, not very accurate if you are going for the accuracy. So for the kit one, you are getting the main bucket and the headrest, and that's pretty much about it. And you are getting the what you call it, the leg fence that comes out. So you do get those, but that's pretty much about it. With the 3D printed one, you're getting all this right here that I just brought out, and basically the only thing that you'll be using on the kit seat is you'll be using the main bucket. Now for that reason, because you are replacing the headrest, again, more accurate detail. You are getting an actual seat frame, which is fantastic. So that looks really good. You're getting your basically bracing for your headrest detached to the main frame of the seat. Here is your upgraded and more better version of your basically leg rest, you want to call it, where your red pads are. That's pretty good. And then you get some extra detail to go on the back of the seat as well, some extra bracing and stuff. And then you got more on this. So really cool. And then again, you are getting some nuts and bolts to go with the seat as well. So fantastic. These look really good. Sticking with the interior, we do have another add-on. This is the only add-on so far that we'll be adding to this kit is going to be your venting hoses. So these cars, they have venting hoses on the quarter panel, and Jim, I'm not sure if he forgot to add them or didn't want to, but this is extra addition, and these actually go on your rear deck right here. And what this will do, it will just sit back there like so, and you can add your venting hoses and stuff. You can have one or you can have two because it depends on the track. So you can have one or two, and it looks really good. And you can make your venting hoses out of shrink tube, and out of basically thin, wire. So this is an add-on edition, and it looks really good because you can definitely see it through the rear window. Alright, so we do have an arm replacement, and it is going to be on this panel right here, this basically, what you call it, like responder or whatever, and we got these guys right here, and these look really good as well. There's hoses for the wires and stuff, and there's just more detail, because the one that comes in the kit and molded into the rear firewall, they call it, is good, but it's kind of painty. You have to detail paint that and stuff, and so we're gonna go ahead and cut that out and replace it with that with more detail. One more thing for the interior is going to be your basically headrest or basically your upper roll cage for the interior, and that is going to be replacing with this bad boy. So what this is going to have this little extra detail right here. So that has that, and the kit one does not include that. And with that, it also has a rearview mirror, a proper rearview mirror, and also it has a small rearview mirror that goes by the window sill. So more accurate and much more detail. Again, the kit one is pretty decent, but again, if you put the one, you are getting more breezing and stuff, and it's just more accurate as well. So more additional details, we're gonna move on to the body. So first things first, you do have molded in basically hood latches or hood pins on the body, and a lot of people do like those, some people don't like those, and you can obviously replace those with these bad boys. So these look fantastic. They have the rings and they have all the clips on there separate, and they have a nice separation hole between them. It looks really good. So there's that. Another add-on is going to be a more accurate and more open exhaust. So you do have your open inch exhaust, and that is going to be replaced. Basically, you are going to have to do some cutting and cut out the stock exhaust that comes molded into the body. So there's that. And one more thing for the body is going to be a separate fuel cell that goes into your body as well. It just replaces this one. You are going to cut that one out and put in that one, because again, it has more detail into it. And also, for one more addition for the body is going to be the bumper cameras. So that is going to be the rear one, and you do have the front one here as well for the front bumper. So JR Models does not include these in their kits. Only ones that includes it is going to be the Toyota body, or the Toyota version, because you do get this, and there is their version of the bumper cams. So it's the same one, but the back one is a little bit different than the front one, but you need to just copy and paste it. But you do get the bumper cams on the Toyota NASCAR kits, but you don't get it in the Chevy or Ford. And also, for one more thing for the interior is going to be an updated and upgraded shifter. And this shifter looks way more accurate. You can also have one, there's also one where you can have exposed shifter line, but this one is just basically the shifter and with the chassis attached to it. So again, it looks more accurate than the kit one. The kit one, you are just getting a basic little shifter knob, and that's pretty much about it. Again, this one is just much more detailed and just has more basically realistic look to it. And one more thing for the body is going to be a new grille. So this grille looks pretty good, and on it, just in case you don't know, but the Toyotas and the Fords do not have opening holes for the grille. But the Chevys do, so the Chevys are pretty easy. But if you want to have more detail and have an open grille, you can do so, but you are going to have to cut out that grille part and stuff in this one. Or what you can do is put in a piece of mesh, have it open, and have more detail to it. So that one's pretty easy. You don't have to have a few put the part to it, as long as you have some mesh put behind there. But again, if you want that open, you don't want the decal for the grille, you can cut this open as well. This is not too big a deal and have more realistic look to it. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much about it. So all the things I showed you in this video are pretty much just upgrade parts that are just replacing the parts that comes in the kit, except one, you're just doing one little add-on, and that is going to be the vent hose that goes on the rear deck of the car, of the interior. But other than that, everything else is just replacing from the kit and much more detailed and much more realistic looking from the ones from the kit. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed this. You can get most of these products at Jay's resin. If you want to check them out, I'll add a link down below to his website. And also, if you have a 3D printer, you can go on Codes 3D and look up NASCAR. That's where all these parts came from. A bunch of designers on Codes 3D designed these parts, and you can check them out as well. But alright, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and until next video, we'll catch you guys next time.